Amid persistent rainfall and the subsequent release of water from Cameroon's Lagdo Dam, communities across over 26 Nigeria's 36 states were inundated by flooding between the month of August and October 2022. Within that period, official tally from the Nigeria's authorities indicated that over 600 fatalities were recorded, while more than 1.4 million citizens were displaced. Most of the affected areas in the country are agrarian communities. Millions of hectares of farmland hosting major staple crops such as rice, sorghum, millet, sugarcane, cowpea, maize, and several others were destroyed by the overflowing water. This year is not an exception, although the level of destruction recorded by some farmers as a result of flooding this year is not as high as the preceding year. Nevertheless, extreme weather events such as drought and excessive rainfall has left unforgettable footprints across many agrarian communities in Nigeria. The aftermath of this nature's-rich climate change, believed to be fueled by man's anthropogenic activities, is evident in the declining state of food availability, accessibility, and affordability in the country amidst inflationary pressure and extreme poverty. Climate change is explained as a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns.
It was terrible because before we are enjoying in this community, farming and fishing, we are getting our food easily. That is why you see the community enjoying before. But now, as of 2012 and 2022, there is a flooding that affect our farms and affect even the flood kills among the members of the community. If you can take a look, river is there far away from us. These are the farmers, farmland we're using. But now, as a result of flooding, all our farms, you can see, all were ravaged.
Take at least soya beans, 2 hectares, rice, almost a bag, almost to 4 hectares. It has been drawn up completely. Even one single rice I didn't pick from that farm. Many of our children was being drawn in water, died. Our cattle, everything, chicks and chicken were dead, was dead. Even the young ones were being contacted with so many diseases.
Gaskiya gonan gyada na ya cinye waken soya na, masara na ta can, abun nan shinkafa na kama gaba daya ruwan ya rufe shi, yana ta cikin wancan ruwan ne gaba daya ya kwanta.
Ruwa ya shigo 10 ga watan 8 ya fara shigowa. Gona wani yayi mun cire wani bai cire ba, har yanzu kuma ruwa yana kan zo.
The time that we come here, it's not a period of rainy season. So the time that we come here, even us, we don't know that water is flooding in this place, because they have told us that the water that we see, it is very far. It will not enter where we are. The flooding, if it is coming, it will just say only on that side. So you see, the flooding is too much. That is why you see it has entered us.
Anan nake cin abinci. Amfani na gonan masara, shinkafa da dawa da nake nomewa. Anan nake nomewa. Wannan shine kogin da muke sallakawa mu je mu noma a wancan hayi. Dalili shine bamu da kasa isasshe a wannan wuri. Wancan shine kasashe na iyayenmu da muke noma a wurin. So ba za mu iya barin wancan wuri mu je wani wuri domin bamu da karfi, bamu da kuɗi da za mu biya haya domin mu samu gona mu noma. A wancan yankin yanzu akwai shinkafa, akwai masara, ko buhu daya ko kwano daya ba zan iya cire wancan wurin ba. Kuma wancan wurin nake samun amfani da shi. Wannan ruwa da muke zaman kusa da shi ya ci mana mutane, ya fi irga. Shekara ya fi irga yana doka mana mutane. garin zuwa neman abinci. So gaskiya mu muna cikin damuwa, muna cikin wani hali da muka sinci kanmu a ciki. Shekaru da dama yanzu da nake siya gaban kokana abun da zan ci ban da shi.
Da gaskiya akwai damuwa sosai. Idan lokaci ya kai kamar haka, in an yi ruwa duka gonakinmu kamar da kun gan mu a saye nan, in kun duba a baya da ɗan nesa ma za ga da ruwa ya ɓata amfanin gona. Amma abun yana ba mu takaici sosai, yana ba mu wahala.
Some year came with his own change, climate change. Especially this year, we did not experience rain so early. So we start planting our crops. The crops now, some now cannot yield anything. Some still, when you put fertilizer now, it will not grow again because of climate change, especially rice and some cassava or granite. When you plant them, if you do not get rain at the early age, it will not yield anything again. So rainy season, you don't get anything. And dry season, you want to sustain what you eat. Fertilizer, you don't have it. Crops to plant, at that time, you may not plant the real one, the one that will give you something, because you don't know the type of crops you are buying to farm.
I plant rice in river Mada and cassava and granite, and this is how this river Mada destroy it. Now we don't have anything again apart from this, because we based on this dry season work. So if it is rainy season, we don't base in it too much like dry season. So we work in river Mada. This is how this river destroy our fruit.
As a result of changing in the weather, we will confront a lot of problems, especially the disease and the pest. For the past previous years, there was nothing like that before. Our fathers were farming. There was nothing like pest, disease affecting the crops. But for these previous years, when we engage ourselves in farming, then we discover that a lot of disease and pest affecting our crops. And when we go to the market and buy this pesticide, insecticide, apply in the farm, but still yet, we're still confronting that problems. It's as if the pests are resisting to the herbicide or insecticide.
On our way here, we saw a lot of farmlands that have been destroyed by water. What happened?
Yeah, that is natural phenomenon, and to God be the glory. We don't even relent. The water is important to us. It helps us to moisture our crops. But the issue is that when the rain over what do you call it? Overdrop, the river overflow. And when the river overflow, it reaches our crops.
So the water rises to that level?
It rises. It's submerged.
This is
all these trees.
This is above 10 feet.
Yes. Even where that's a hot day.
Yes, the water gets to that level.
Yes. So the water overflows. It submerged our. Last year it was worse. Last year, 2022. The water will overflow and submerge our crops.
The weather in this year, there is not rain, and the things that we plant in our farm that they don't use to grow well, and the corn that we used to farm this year, there is not rain, and the cockroach are disturbing it because there is not fertilizer for us to put.
Orúkọ mi ni Bàbá Ajírébi. Rí báyìí gbogbo ohun tá ń bá wa sọ kì í ṣe pé nítorí tẹnìkan bí kò ṣe pé nítorí ti àwa ara wa. Rí báyìí ẹ wo omi bó ti ṣe rí, ẹ wo ilé tí a kọ́ tá fẹ́ fi dínà mọ́ omi. Kò ṣeé ṣe, omi á kọjá, omi á lànà, ó máa kọjá. ẹ̀rí báyìí omi ló gba lé ló gba ọ̀nà ló gba gbogbo ẹ̀ yìí ẹ̀rí kọ́lọ́ mọ̀ ṣàánú wa ni o ẹjọ́ torí Ọlọ́run àtúnrọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa tẹ́ ń kọ́lé ẹ má jẹ́ ká kọ́lé dí ojú omi ẹ má jẹ́ ká kọ́lé dí ojú omi Ọlọ́run á ṣàánú wa ẹ wo eléyìí tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí nìsín kọ́lọ́ mọ̀ ṣàánú wa ni oko bára lé oko bárò oko bérò ọ̀nà gbogbo ẹnikẹ́ni tí omi yìí bá dé bá báyìí Ọlọ́run má jẹ́ àgbákò dé kọ́lọ́ má jẹ́ ká ṣàgbákò torí náà ẹ jẹ́ ká fi eléyìí kọ́gbọ́n o omi rèé o alàgbà ló bú rí báyìí sẹ́ni tó gbérú eléyìí náà gbélé ayé sẹ́ni tó gbérú eléyìí náà gbélé ayé ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣọ́ra wa àfọwọ́fà wa òun ló pọ̀ ńbẹ̀ o a má fọwọ́ ara wa fa wàhálà o bí ilé bá ṣe kọ́ ká kọ́ bí ò bá ṣe kọ́ ká pàtì èwo ni ẹ̀rí báyìí ẹlẹ́dàá mi o ọlọ́mọdé yìí ó ṣàgbákò.
Yayan kanai ba yayan kanai
In the face of these challenges, the Human and Environmental Development Agenda, in partnership with Oxfam and the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance under the African Activist Climate Justice Alliance, traveled across major climate frontline communities in Nigeria to document the plight of affected individuals, rising climate change awareness among vulnerable groups, and identify ongoing effort by the government to support affected community members and to mitigate future flood occurrence in the country.
Kuke samun information game da yanayin flooding ambaliyar ruwa idan ya zo da kuma idan aka zo ana yin kuma dry spell.
But it came in 2022 and it's coming now again in 2022. Why is it 10 years already? Something is changing.
This is core community in Girei local government area of Adamawa State. It's also an agrarian community. Here they do a lot of rice and maize farming. They also plant beans and of course a whole host of things they do here. Just further down the road behind us is the river Benue, and when the water rises, it's going to cover to some extent some of these farms that you are seeing. Now the interesting thing is that just 2-3 months ago, communities around here were also having problems with rainfall because then it was really dry, they were not getting enough rain. But the challenge I'm throwing at us is that this can be described more or less as coastal communities because the river Benue runs along them, and still when it's dry season, farms that are further into the dry land are not able to do dry season farming. This is a challenge. The water is there, but the infrastructure to get the water to the farms is not there. That's where the problem is. And unfortunately, when people also do the rainy season farming, when there's too much water, like we have seen in many communities, we have been to Fufore, we have been to Dancing Hausa in Fufore, we have been to Yola South, we have been to Numan, now we are on our way to some community in Girei. And what you keep seeing is that the flood is taking over the farmlands. Especially it comes at about when the people are getting ready for harvest. You can see we've seen thousands of hectares of rice farmlands, but a lot of them are probably going to be overrun by the flood. So when there is rain, there is problem. When there is no rain, there is problem. Yet, It's possible with proper planning, with proper funding for agriculture, with proper response to climate change to prevent the losses that happen to both lives of humans, animals, and crops. It's possible to build infrastructure that will help the farmers to farm throughout the years. The rice cultivation takes about 3 months. So it's possible for our farmers to actually have 3 harvests in a year, and we will not have all of the problems. And I'm just using rice as an example. There are so many other things that we could. And if you take it that Nigeria is even a country where we do not have the maximal per hectare yield, we have no business with food shortage. We have no business with importing many of the food items that we import into this country. We have no business with hunger. Hunger is man-made. We can deal with hunger. Nigeria has the resources. We have the vast land. We have able-bodied men and women. We have entrepreneurial spirit. We have people who want to work. But what do you say about somebody who goes into an investment, whether as a peasant, a subsistence farmer, or small-scale commercial farmers, or even large-scale, and when it's time for harvest, they lose it all to flood? And many of these communities, the people do not have access to insurance. And it's not about insurance, it's about making the food available. It's about making the food accessible. It's about making the food affordable. This will not achieve if the people keep suffering from extreme weather events whose impact can be minimized with adequate information to the farmers, giving them the appropriate window for planting, the crop weather calendar. We can minimize the impact. Helping people with relocation centers, we can minimize the impact on their lives and livelihoods. Helping people with drought resistant seeds, flood resistant seed, or quick germinating seeds can help to minimize the loss that we suffer as a nation.
It was also discovered that despite much effort by the National Emergency Management Agency to provide succor to affected communities, they could not reach everyone affected. In most cases, the government of states affected did not do much to support their citizens.
The Lado Dam, whenever they release the water, it will affect Nigerian places. And it is my belief that had it been that another dam like Lado might have built here around this area, maybe it will have solved the problem. But notwithstanding, the government can still think of now constructing another dam around this area so that to see how to control the water. And by the time you have the dam, it will enable the government to assist people, the farmers in particular, by using this dam, using the water for either dry season farming, for whatever it can be used for. It will help certainly. So, and I think at this point I want to call upon the government to think on how to help us by building another dam around this our area so that it can alleviate the problem of flood.
We are appealing to the government to come to our aid in this aspect. In fact, we don't know whether the government can control, help us, tell us the way to control this flooding, or assist us because of most of our loss, if they can at least assist.
Ko ba za a ce ba a samuwa, ana samuwa daidai, amma baya kai yadda muke ji makwabtanmu ake basu ba. Daga mutum ɗaya-ɗaya, daga gwamnati, daga NGOs, duk suna tallafawa, amma ba abin da mutum zai shi ya yi mako ɗaya da shi ba.
Kuka na gwamnati su tallafa mana ko ta gefen koginmu a dan kara zurfin kogin idan abu na namu, ko da cikin ruwa ya zo mu dan samu abin da mu samu.
We are in very critical condition. We want government please to help us to know how to take care of this water so that it cannot flood to our place again. So our farms and our houses are all in water. Please, government, please help us.